I hated Kai Masterson. No, that was wrong. I didn't hate him. I hated how perfect he seemed, how effortlessly he moved on the court, how his dark hair fell across his forehead when he ran, how everyone at Riverside High treated him like some kind of basketball god while I worked twice as hard for half the recognition. The championship game was everything I had trained for. 3 years of early morning practices, skipped parties, and blistered hands, all leading to this moment. Our school, Northside Academy, against Riverside, me against Kai. The gym was packed. The air smelled like sweat and anticipation. I could hear my teammates shouting encouragement, but all I could see was Kai across the court, stretching casually like this was just another practice game. The first quarter went exactly as I feared. Kai scored 12 points. I scored 8. Every time I got close to him, he would slip past like water through fingers. His teammates passed to him instinctively, trusting him completely. Meanwhile, I had to fight for every opportunity. Focus, Adrian, Coach Santas yelled from the sideline. Stop watching him and play your game. But how could I play my game when Kai was rewriting all the rules? Second quarter, I finally got my rhythm, stole the ball twice, made a three-pointer that had our side of the gym erupting. For a brief, beautiful moment, I felt like I was flying. Then Kai smiled at me, not a mocking smile, not a competitive grin, just a small, genuine smile that made my stomach do something weird. I missed my next shot completely, the ball bouncing sadly off the rim. What was that? My teammate Jake whispered during a timeout. You okay? Fine, I muttered, gulping water and trying to ignore how my hands were shaking. By halftime, we were down by 6 points. In the locker room, Coach gave us the usual speech about heart and determination, but I barely heard him. My mind kept replaying that smile. Third quarter, everything fell apart. I was guarding Kai when he went up for a layup. I jumped to block him, and somehow our bodies collided hard, really hard. We both crashed to the floor, but Kai took the worst of it, his shoulder slamming against the hardwood. The referee's whistle shrieked. Foul on me. But as we untangled ourselves, as I reached down to help him up, Kai did something that made my blood boil. He waved me away, stood up on his own, and brushed off his jersey like I was nothing, like I wasn't even worth acknowledging. Something inside me snapped. Fourth quarter, 10 minutes left, score tied. The ball was loose, and both Kai and I dove for it. We crashed together again, harder this time, and when we scrambled to our feet, when he gave me that same dismissive look, I didn't think. I just punched him. Not hard, not enough to really hurt him. Just a quick jab to his shoulder, the one that had hit the floor earlier. But in a silent gym, even a small punch sounds like thunder. Everything stopped. The referees rushed over. My coach was yelling. Kai's coach was yelling. My teammates grabbed my arms, pulling me back. I was ejected from the game immediately. Red card, no questions asked. As security escorted me toward the locker room, the gym still silent with shock, I heard something that made me freeze. Kai was talking to his teammate near the bench. I could hear him clearly in the stunned quiet. You okay, man? His teammate asked. Kai touched his shoulder, wincing slightly, but then he said something that made no sense at all. Pretty good. I just took a punch from him. He said it with something almost like pride in his voice, like getting punched by me was some kind of achievement, like I mattered. I looked back, confused, and found Kai staring directly at me. Not angry, not hurt, just looking at me with an expression I couldn't read at all. Then the security guard pushed me forward, and the locker room door closed behind me. I sat alone on the bench, head in my hands, trying to process what had just happened. I had thrown away the championship, let my team down, assaulted another player, My basketball career was probably over, but all I could think about was the way Kai had said those words. Pretty good. I just took a punch from him. What did that mean? Outside, I heard the game continue without me, heard the crowd roar, heard the final buzzer, heard the announcement that Riverside had won. I had lost everything, but somehow I couldn't stop thinking about Kai's expression when he looked at me, like he was seeing something no one else could see, like that punch had revealed something I didn't even know was there. The locker room door opened. I expected Coach Santos, expected anger and disappointment. Instead, it was Kai. We need to talk, he said. You're not supposed to be here. That was all I could manage to say as Kai Masterson stood in the doorway of our locker room, still in his Riverside uniform, jersey dark with sweat. He should have been celebrating with his team. Instead, he was here, looking at me like I was some kind of puzzle he needed to solve. The game just ended, he said, stepping inside and letting the door close behind him. I told them I needed to use the bathroom. This isn't the bathroom. I know. We stared at each other. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Somewhere outside, I could hear Riverside's team celebrating their victory. The victory I had handed them on a silver platter by getting myself ejected. Kai touched his shoulder again, the one I had punched. Does your hand hurt? The question was so unexpected that I actually looked down at my hand. My knuckles were slightly red, but nothing serious. No. Good. He sat down on the bench across from me, not too close, but not far away either. I wanted to explain something before you heard it from someone else. Explain what? That I'm probably getting suspended? That I ruined everything? No. Kai leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. Explain why I said what I said about the punch. My heart started beating faster. I heard you. I just don't understand what you meant. He was quiet for a long moment, seeming to choose his words carefully. When he finally spoke, his voice was softer than I had ever heard it. Do you know how long I've been trying to get your attention? I blinked. What? 3 years, Adrian. 3 years of playing against you in every tournament, every friendly match, every summer league game. 3 years of trying to make you notice me as something other than just a rival. My brain felt like it was short circuiting. That's not true. You never even talked to me. Because every time I tried, you would walk away. After games, you'd leave before I could catch you. During tournaments, you'd avoid the social events. I thought maybe you just really hated me. He smiled, but it looked sad. Then today, when you punched me, I realized something. That I'm violent and have anger issues. That you care. I stood up, suddenly feeling like the walls were too close. You think I care about you because I punched you? That's twisted. No. Kai stood up too, and now we were facing each other with only a few feet between us. You don't punch someone you don't feel anything for. You ignore them. You look through them. But you punched me because something I did made you feel something, even if that something was anger. He was right, and I hated that he was right. You want to know what made me angry? The words came out before I could stop them. That smile in the second quarter. You smiled at me, and I couldn't focus for the rest of the game. And then on the floor, when I tried to help you up, you acted like I was invisible. Like that smile meant nothing. Kai's eyes widened. You remember that smile? Yes. I smiled because you made an incredible three-pointer. It was beautiful. I couldn't help it. He took a step closer. And I didn't take your hand because if I did, if I touched you, everyone would see on my face what I've been hiding for 3 years. My mouth was dry. Which is what? That I think about you all the time. That I watch videos of your games to study your moves. That I practice harder because I want to be worthy of playing against you. That every time we're on the same court, I feel more alive than any other time in my life. The locker room suddenly felt very small and very hot. Kai, I said, and my voice came out strange. Are you saying what I think you're saying? He looked at me directly, and there was no hiding anything anymore. I'm saying that I've had the biggest crush on you since sophomore year. I'm saying that when you punched me today, my first thought wasn't about the pain. It was about how it meant you finally saw me, really saw me. I should have said something, should have responded, but my brain was completely offline. I know this is probably the worst possible time to tell you this, Kai continued quickly, as if he was afraid he would lose courage if he stopped. I know you just got ejected from the biggest game of your career. I know you probably hate me even more now, but I couldn't let tonight end without you knowing the truth. The door suddenly burst open, and Jake stuck his head in. Adrian, coach wants. He stopped when he saw Kai. Oh, should I come back later? No, I said, but my eyes never left Kai. Give me 5 minutes. Jake nodded and disappeared. Kai started toward the door. I should go. My team will be looking for me. Wait. He stopped, turning back. I didn't know what I was feeling. Confusion, shock, something else I wasn't ready to name yet. But I knew one thing clearly. This conversation isn't over, I said. For the first time since entering the locker room, Kai's expression brightened. Does that mean you don't hate me? I don't know what I feel about you, but I need time to figure it out. I can give you time. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. Can I have your number? It felt surreal, exchanging phone numbers with Kai Masterson in my team's locker room after the worst game of my life. But I typed my number into his phone anyway. Before he left, Kai said one more thing. For what it's worth, Adrian, you're the best player I've ever gone up against, with or without that punch. Then he was gone, leaving me alone with thoughts that wouldn't stop spinning. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Kai's face in that locker room, heard his voice saying those impossible words, felt the weight of everything I thought I knew about him crumbling into dust. My phone sat on my nightstand, screen dark and silent. No message from Kai yet. Maybe he had changed his mind. Maybe the adrenaline from the game had made him say things he didn't mean. Maybe I wanted him to message me. That thought alone kept me awake until sunrise. School on Monday was exactly as terrible as I expected. The video of me punching Kai had gone viral over the weekend. Everyone had seen it. Everyone had an opinion. Dude, that was crazy. Random people kept saying in the hallways, like violence was something to celebrate. My real friends were more careful. Jake walked with me between classes, a silent bodyguard against the stares and whispers. Maya, our team's manager, gave me worried looks, but didn't push when I said I didn't want to talk about it. The worst part was walking past the trophy case, the empty space where this year's championship trophy should have been. My fault, all my fault. Coach Santos called me into his office during lunch. Sit down, Adrian. I sat, prepared for the lecture I deserved, for the punishment, maybe even being kicked off the team. Coach didn't yell. That was somehow worse. I watched the game footage about 50 times this weekend, he said, leaning back in his chair. Do you know what I noticed? That I assaulted another player? That you were distracted the entire second half? That you were playing emotionally instead of strategically? That you let Kai Masterson get inside your head? Coach studied me carefully. Want to tell me what that was about? I couldn't meet his eyes. It's complicated. Try me. So I told him. Not everything. Definitely not what Kai had said in the locker room, but enough. That Kai frustrated me. That competing against him made me feel things I didn't understand. That the punch had been a moment of complete loss of control. Coach was quiet for a long time after I finished. You're suspended for 3 games, he finally said. No practice, no team events. That's coming from the league, not from me. After that, you're back on the team if you want to be. Relief flooded through me. I want to be. Good. Because, Adrian, you're one of the best players I've ever coached. But basketball isn't just about skill, it's about discipline, control. And right now, you need to figure out what's really bothering you about Kai Masterson. If only it were that simple. My phone buzzed during afternoon classes. My heart jumped every time, but it was always Jake or Maya, never Kai. By the time final bell rang, I had convinced myself that the locker room conversation had been some kind of fever dream, that Kai had never meant any of it, that I had imagined the look in his eyes when he said he thought about me all the time. Then I walked out to the parking lot and found Kai leaning against my car. He was wearing civilian clothes, jeans, and a dark blue hoodie that made his eyes look even darker. His hair was messy, like he'd been running his hands through it. He looked nervous. "Hi," he said when he saw me. I stopped a few feet away, suddenly aware of all the students streaming out of the building behind me. Some of them had already noticed Kai. Phones were coming out. "What are you doing here?" Keeping a promise, we said our conversation wasn't over. He glanced at the growing crowd of onlookers. "But maybe we should continue it somewhere more private?" Every rational part of my brain screamed that this was a bad idea, that I should walk away, that getting involved with Kai Masterson in any way would only complicate everything. But I unlocked my car anyway. "Get in." We drove in silence for the first 10 minutes. I headed toward Riverside Park, the one place I knew would be empty on a Monday afternoon. Kai sat in the passenger seat looking out the window, his hands clasped together in his lap. "You didn't message me," I finally said. "I wanted to give you space. I thought if I texted too soon, you might block my number." "I wouldn't have blocked you." He turned to look at me. "Really? Really?" I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "I've been thinking about what you said all weekend. I haven't thought about anything else." We reached the park, and I pulled into an empty parking spot near the lake. The water was gray and calm, reflecting the cloudy sky. A few ducks floated near the shore. "I need you to understand something," I said, turning off the engine but not looking at him yet. "I've spent 3 years building you up as this perfect rival. This person who had everything I wanted, the natural talent, the team chemistry, the recognition. I told myself that what I felt toward you was pure competition. And now I force myself to look at him, to see Kai not as an opponent, but as a person who had apparently been looking back at me all this time. Now I don't know what I feel, but it's not just competition." Kai's expression was so hopeful that it hurt to look at. "Can I ask you something, and will you be honest with me?" "Yes." "When you see me across the court, when we're playing against each other, what do you feel in that exact moment?" I thought about it, really thought about it, remembered the way my heart raced when I saw him warming up, the way I was hyper aware of his every movement, the way victory felt hollow if he wasn't playing his best. "I feel alive," I admitted quietly. "Like everything else in the world disappears, and it's just us, just the game, just the challenge. That's how I feel too." "But Kai, that's not the same as what you said in the locker room. Competition and attraction are different things." He smiled slightly. "Are they? Because for me, they're the same. The way you move on the court, the determination in your eyes, the way you never give up, even when you're losing, that's what made me fall for you. I don't separate basketball Adrian from real Adrian. You're the same person." A duck quacked loudly, breaking the tension. I laughed, surprising myself. This is the weirdest conversation I've ever had. "Tell me about it." I practiced this in my head about 100 times, and It never went quite like this. How did it go in your head? Kai looked embarrassed. Usually you kissed me by this point. My face went hot. Kai, too much? Way too much. But I was smiling. Actually smiling. We barely know each other outside of basketball. Then let's fix that. He shifted in his seat to face me fully. Ask me anything. I'm an open book. So I did. For the next hour, sitting in my car by the lake, I asked Kai questions. His favorite food, his worst subject in school, why he started playing basketball, what he wanted to do after graduation, and he asked me questions too. We talked until the sun started setting, until the park ranger knocked on my window to tell us the park was closing, until my phone was full of worried texts from my mom asking where I was. As I drove Kai back to his car at my school, something had shifted between us. The air felt different, lighter somehow. Can I see you again? Kai asked before getting out. Not at a game, just us. I should have said no, should have kept my distance, should have protected myself from whatever this was. Yes, I said instead. His smile could have powered the entire city. We started meeting in secret. It wasn't planned. We didn't discuss it or make a pact. It just happened naturally, both of us understanding without words that whatever was growing between us needed to stay hidden, at least for now. My suspension meant I had free afternoons while my team practiced. Kai would skip his team's optional morning workouts. We found the gaps in our schedules and filled them with each other. Tuesday, we met at the library downtown, the big one that no one from either of our schools ever went to. We sat at a table in the back corner, supposedly studying for midterms, but mostly just talking in whispers. Kai told me about his parents' divorce. I told him about my dad walking out when I was 10. Heavy stuff for a second meeting, but it felt right. Is that why basketball matters so much to you? Kai asked, his fingers absently tracing patterns on the worn table. Trying to prove something to your dad? Maybe at first, I admitted. Now it's just mine. The one thing I built myself. Thursday, we met at the old arcade near the mall, the one that smelled like stale popcorn and was always empty except for a few middle schoolers. We played terrible racing games and air hockey. Kai was competitive even here, celebrating every point like he had won a championship. You're such a dork, I laughed as he did a victory dance after beating me at basketball shooting game. Says the guy who just lost to me, again. That machine is rigged. Sure it is. He bumped his shoulder against mine, casual and warm, and I felt electricity run down my arm. Saturday afternoon, I told my mom I was going to the gym. Instead, I picked up Kai from a gas station 2 miles from his house. We drove to the next town over and watched a movie, some action thriller neither of us cared about. We sat in the back row, and halfway through the film, Kai's hand found mine in the darkness. I should have pulled away, should have remembered all the reasons this was complicated. Instead, I laced my fingers through his and didn't let go until the credits rolled. Adrian, Kai whispered as we walked back to my car. Is this okay? Us meeting like this? I don't know, I answered honestly, but I don't want to stop. Me neither. The problem was that secrets have a way of getting out. Monday morning, back at school after my suspension, Jake cornered me by my locker. Dude, where have you been? I've texted you like 50 times this week. Just dealing with stuff. Needed some space. Space from basketball or space from your friends. Jake's expression was hurt. You've been ghosting all of us. Guilt twisted in my stomach. Jake had been my best friend since freshman year. He had stood by me after the punch, dealt with all the questions and rumors, and I had been avoiding him because I was spending all my time with Kai. I'm sorry, I said. You're right. I've been a terrible friend. Is something going on? You can talk to me, you know. I wanted to tell him. Wanted to share what was happening with someone who knew me. but the words stuck in my throat. How could I explain something I barely understood myself? I'm fine. Just needed to clear my head, but I'm back now. Jake didn't look convinced, but he let it drop. Coach wants you at practice today. Full gear. Says it's time to get you back in shape. Practice was brutal. Coach Santos ran us through drills until my legs felt like jelly, but it felt good to be back on the court, back with my team. Basketball was familiar, safe, unlike whatever I was doing with Kai. My phone buzzed during water break. Kai, how's your first day back? Me, exhausting. Coach is killing us. Kai, good. You're too slow. Need to work on that. Me, says the guy who I beat last week in air hockey. Kai, that was one game. I was smiling at my phone when Maya appeared at my shoulder. Who are you texting that's making you smile like that? No one. Adrian Martinez, you are a terrible liar. She grabbed my phone before I could stop her, saw Kai's name, and her eyes went wide. Oh my god. Give that back. You're texting Kai Masterson, the guy you punched? Maya, please. Are you friends now? Is that what's been going on? She studied my face, and I watched her put the pieces together. Oh, oh. Don't say anything. Adrian, are you. I don't know what I am. Please, Maya. Don't say anything. Not to Jake, not to Coach, not to anyone. She was quiet for a long moment, then handed back my phone. I won't say anything. But Adrian, you need to be careful. This school, these teams, they're not exactly progressive. If people find out, I know. Do you? Because some of the guys on our team, they said some pretty nasty things about gay people last year when that news anchor came out. Remember? I remembered. Remembered feeling sick to my stomach. Remembered saying nothing because I had never thought it applied to me. Kai and I aren't dating, I said quickly. We're just talking. Getting to know each other. Uh huh. And do you hold hands with all your friends? My face went hot. How did you? Jake told me you've been acting weird. So I followed you on Saturday, saw you guys at the movies. She held up her hand before I could panic. I didn't tell Jake. He thinks you were at the gym, like you said. But Adrian, if I figured it out, someone else will too. She was right. I knew she was right. But I couldn't stop seeing Kai. Didn't want to stop. That night, Kai called me instead of texting. Hey, he said, and even his voice over the phone made my heart beat faster. Is everything okay? You stopped responding earlier. I told him about Maya, about her warning, about my fear that we weren't being as careful as we thought. Kai was quiet for a moment. Then, do you want to stop? Seeing each other, I mean. If it's too risky, no, I said immediately. Too immediately. I don't want to stop. Then we'll be more careful. We won't meet in town anymore. We can drive further out, find places where no one knows us. Kai, that sounds exhausting. I don't care, as long as I get to see you. Something warm bloomed in my chest. You mean that? Adrian, I've been half in love with you for 3 years. You think I'm gonna give up now just because it's complicated? Half in love. He said it so casually, like it wasn't the most significant thing anyone had ever said to me. I should go, I managed to say. It's late. Wait, one more thing. What? The game this Friday. Northside versus Central. I'll be there. You're scouting your competition? No, you idiot. I'm coming to watch you play, to cheer you on. Kai, if people see you at my game, I'll sit in the back, wear a hoodie. No one will notice me. I just want to see you play. Really play, without holding back, without getting ejected. He paused. Besides, I need to see if you've gotten any better since the championship. I smiled in the darkness of my room. I'm going to destroy Central. I hope you do. I really hope you do. After we hung up, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Everything about this situation was wrong. We went to rival schools. We were supposed to hate each other. People wouldn't understand. But when I thought about Kai's smile, his laugh, the way he made me feel like I could be honest about anything, none of that mattered. For the first time in my life, I understood what people meant when they said falling for someone was like jumping off a cliff. The falling part was terrifying, but also kind of wonderful. Friday night, game against Central High. I had never been this nervous before a game. Not because of Central, they were good, but we had beaten them twice this season already. I was nervous because somewhere in the crowd, Kai was watching. In the locker room before the game, Coach Santos gathered us for his usual pep talk. This is Adrian's first game back since the suspension. I want everyone supporting him out there. No pressure, no blame. We're a team, and we win or lose together. Got it? Got it, coach. Everyone shouted. Jake clapped me on the shoulder. Ready to remind everyone why you're our best player? Let's hope so. But as we ran out onto the court, as the crowd erupted with cheers, I found myself scanning the bleachers, looking for one particular person in a sea of faces. There, back row left side. Dark hoodie pulled up, but I could see enough of his face to recognize him. Kai had come. He caught my eye and gave me a small nod. A smile played at the corner of his mouth. My heart did something complicated in my chest. Adrian, focus! Coach yelled from the bench. Right, focus. I had a game to play. Central's team was bigger this year. They had recruited some new players over the summer, and their starting center was at least 6'5". The first quarter was rough. We were down by 4 points, and I couldn't seem to find my rhythm. Every time I got the ball, I was too aware of Kai watching. Was I playing well enough? Did he think I was better or worse than he expected? Timeout, coach called. In the huddle, coach looked directly at me. Whatever's in your head, Adrian, leave it there. This game is happening now. Be here. He was right. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and pushed everything else away. When we went back out, I was ready. Second quarter was better. I stole the ball twice, made a clean three-pointer, and assisted Jake for a layup. By halftime, we were up by 2 points. The gym was electric with energy. In the locker room, Maya handed me a water bottle. You're playing well, she said quietly. He's proud of you. I can tell even from here. I almost choked on the water. You saw him? Back row, dark hoodie. Yeah, I saw him. Pretty sure I'm the only one, though. He picked a good spot. She smiled. It's kind of romantic, actually, like a secret admirer. Maya. I know, I know. I won't say anything. But Adrian, the way you keep glancing up at him between plays, that's going to give you away faster than anything. She was right. I needed to stop looking. Needed to focus only on the game. Third quarter, Central came back hard. Their center was dominating the paint, and their point guard was fast, really fast. With 2 minutes left in the quarter, they took the lead by 3 points. The pressure was building. I could feel my old anxiety creeping back in, the fear of letting my team down, of not being good enough. Then I heard it. Faint, barely audible over the crowd, but definitely there. Come on, Adrian. I looked up without thinking. Kai had pushed his hoodie back slightly. He was on his feet, hands cupped around his mouth, shouting encouragement. A few people near him glanced over, confused, but then quickly went back to watching the game. Something settled in my chest. Calm, confidence, the belief that I could do this. I stole the ball on the next play, drove down the court, faked left, went right, and made a layup that tied the game. The gym exploded. Fourth quarter was a battle. Every point mattered. With 1 minute left, the score was tied again, 68-68. Central had the ball. Their point guard drove toward the basket. I moved to guard him, but he passed at the last second to their center. The shot went up. Jake blocked it. The ball bounced loose. I grabbed it. 5 seconds left. I ran down the court, my teammates sprinting alongside me. 4 seconds. The defense was on me, two players blocking my path to the basket. 3 seconds. I passed to Jake. He passed back. The defense shifted. 2 seconds. I jumped, released the ball, watched it arc through the air. 1 second. Swish. The buzzer sounded. The gym went insane. My teammates mobbed me, everyone screaming and jumping. We had won, 70-68. But even in the chaos, even while Jake was practically crushing me in a hug, I looked up at the back row. Kai was clapping, his face bright with happiness, not for his own team, for me. Then someone stepped in front of me, blocking my view. A reporter from the local sports blog, microphone in hand. Adrian Martinez, incredible game-winning shot. How does it feel to be back? I stammered through some generic answer about teamwork and perseverance. More reporters came. Cameras flashed. Everyone wanted a piece of the comeback story. By the time I escaped to the locker room 20 minutes later, exhausted and sweaty, Kai was gone. I checked my phone. Kai, that was amazing. You were amazing. Sorry I had to leave quick. Saw someone from my team coming in. Kai, can I see you tomorrow? I need to tell you something. My hands were shaking as I typed back. Me. Same spot at the library? 2 p.m.? Kai. Perfect. In the shower, I replayed the game in my head. But more than that, I replayed the feeling of knowing Kai was watching, of playing my best not just for my team or for me, but for him too. This was getting serious. Whatever was happening between us, it was real and deep and probably gonna get messy. But God help me. I didn't want to stop. That night, I couldn't sleep again. Partly from the adrenaline of the game, partly from wondering what Kai needed to tell me tomorrow. My phone buzzed at midnight. Kai, you awake? Me. Yeah, can't sleep. Kai, me neither. Keep thinking about that game winning shot. Me. Keep thinking about you cheering for me. There was a long pause. I thought maybe I'd said too much. Then, Kai. Adrian, I'm falling for you. Like, really falling. Is that okay? I stared at the message for a full minute, then typed, me. Yeah, it's okay. Me. Because I think I'm falling for you too. Kai. See you tomorrow? Me. See you tomorrow. I fell asleep smiling, phone still in my hand, and dreamed of basketball and dark eyes and possibilities I'd never let myself imagine before. The library was quiet except for the sound of pages turning and the occasional cough from the elderly librarian at the front desk. I arrived 10 minutes early, too anxious to stay home any longer. Kai showed up exactly at 2 p.m., wearing jeans and a gray sweater that made him look softer somehow. Less like a rival basketball player and more like someone I was falling for. We grabbed our usual table in the back corner, but neither of us opened our backpacks. We just sat there, looking at each other, the weight of last night's texts hanging between us. So, I said finally, you needed to tell me something? Kai took a deep breath. Right, okay. This is harder than I thought it would be. Just say it. Whatever it is, just say it. My parents know about you. That was not what I expected. What? Not about us specifically, but about you. My mom noticed I've been happier lately, disappearing at random times, always on my phone. She asked if I was seeing someone. He ran his hand through his hair, a nervous gesture I was starting to recognize. I told her I was interested in someone. She asked who. I said a guy from another school. Then she asked if you made me happy. My heart was pounding. What did you say? I said yes. Happier than I've been in years. Kai looked at me directly. She wants to meet you. Kai, I can't. My mom doesn't even know I like guys. I've never told anyone except Maya, and that was an accident. I know, I'm not asking you to meet my parents tomorrow. I just wanted to be honest about where things are with me. My mom knows, my dad knows. They're okay with it. Actually, they're great about it. But I understand if you're not ready for that step. I leaned back in my chair, trying to process. Kai had come out to his parents, had told them about me, while I was still pretending this was all casual, still hiding everything from everyone who mattered. Tell me about when you first knew, I said suddenly. That you like guys, I mean. Kai was quiet for a moment. Freshman year. There was this senior on our basketball team, Marcus Chen. He was captain, really good player, really kind person. One day I realized I wasn't just admiring his basketball skills, I was admiring him. How he moved, how he smiled, the way his voice sounded. That's when I knew. Did you tell anyone? Not at first. I was terrified. You know how basketball culture is, all that toxic masculinity, all the homophobic jokes. But then Marcus came out at the end of his senior year, just announced it at graduation, and you know what happened? What? Nothing bad. Some people were supportive, some people didn't care, and the ones who had a problem with it were the minority. It made me realize that maybe the fear was worse than the reality. But you still didn't come out? Not publicly, but I told my parents sophomore year, told a few close friends junior year, and now I'm telling you. He reached across the table and his hand covered mine. I'm not asking you to come out, Adrian. That's your choice, your timeline. I'm just saying that I'm done hiding who I am. And if we're going to keep seeing each other, you need to know that. His hand was warm on mine, real, solid. Everything about this moment felt too big, too important. I don't know if I can be as brave as you, I admitted. My mom is Catholic, really Catholic, and my team, God, Kai, you should hear the way some of them talk. Just last season, they were making jokes about. I couldn't even finish the sentence. I know, my team isn't perfect either. But, Adrian, we don't have to tell everyone. We just have to stop lying to ourselves. He squeezed my hand gently. The question is, do you want to keep seeing me? Knowing that I'm not going to hide this forever? Did I want to keep seeing him? Every logical part of my brain screamed no. This was too complicated, too risky, too likely to blow up in my face. But when I looked at Kai, at his hopeful expression and his honest eyes and his hand holding mine like I was something precious, I knew there was only one answer I could give. Yes, I want to keep seeing you. His smile was like sunrise. Even though I'm probably going to be terrible at this, I added, even though I'm going to freak out and overthink everything, especially because of that. We sat there for a while, hands linked across the table, just being together. Eventually, we had to let go. The librarian was starting to look over at us suspiciously, but something had shifted. We weren't just hiding anymore, we were choosing each other. So, what now? I asked. Now we take it one day at a time. Keep meeting up, getting to know each other, seeing where this goes. And when you're ready, if you ever are, we'll figure out the next step together. Your mom really wants to meet me? She really does. Well, she's a hugger, fair warning. And she'll probably make too much food and ask you a million questions. But only when you're ready. The thought of meeting Kai's parents was terrifying, but also kind of wonderful. To be in a world where this was normal, where two guys could date without hiding, where someone's mom could just want to meet her son's, what was I exactly? Boyfriend? We hadn't used that word yet. What are we? I blurted out. Like, are we dating? Are you my boyfriend? I don't know how this works. Kai laughed. I was wondering when you'd ask that. He leaned forward, voice dropping to a whisper. I'd like to be your boyfriend, if you want that too. I do want that, I think. I was blushing so hard my face felt like fire. Yes, let's be boyfriends. Yeah? Yeah. Cool. Kai was trying to play it casual, but he couldn't stop grinning. So, boyfriend, want to get out of here? Maybe go somewhere we can actually talk without whispering? We ended up at the same park where we had our first real conversation. The weather was colder now, November creeping toward December, but we didn't care. We walked around the lake, talking about everything and nothing. Kai told me about his little sister, who apparently was a basketball fanatic and had posters of WNBA players covering her room. I told him about the fight I had with my mom last month about college. She wanted me to stay local. I wanted to go wherever offered the best basketball program. Where does Riverside rank on your list? Kai asked. It's up there. Good team, decent academics. You? Same. Although, if I'm being honest, I've been looking at their roster and imagining what it would be like if we were on the same team instead of rival teams. The thought sent a thrill through me. That would be weird. Good weird or bad weird? I don't know yet. Ask me in a few months. We sat on a bench overlooking the water. Kai's shoulder pressed against mine. I could feel his warmth through my jacket. Can I ask you something serious? Kai said. Always. What are you most afraid of? With us, I mean. I thought about it, really thought about it, that I'll lose basketball. It's the most important thing in my life. If people find out about us, if they react badly, if I get kicked off the team or lose my scholarship chances, I don't know who I am without basketball. You're more than just basketball, Adrian. Am I, though? That's what I've built my entire life around. That's my plan, my future, my identity. Everything else is just filler. Kai turned to face me fully. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's true. Maybe, but it doesn't have to stay true. He hesitated, then said, You asked what I needed to tell you today. That was part of it. But there's something else too. What? There's a tournament next month. End of year invitational. It's not through our schools, it's an independent thing for the best players in the state. Both of us got invited. The statewide showcase? I got that invitation, but haven't responded yet. What if we both went? Not as rivals, just as players. We'd be on different randomly assigned teams, might not even play against each other. But we could be there together. No hiding, no schools, just basketball. It sounded perfect and absolutely terrifying. Let me think about it, I said. That's all I ask. We stayed at the park until the sun started setting, until the cold became too much to ignore. Kai walked me back to my car, and for a moment, we just stood there in the parking lot, neither wanting to say goodbye. Thank you, Kai said suddenly. For what? For giving this a chance. For giving us a chance. I know it's not easy. Thank you for being patient with me. He smiled. Always. I watched him walk to his car, watched him drive away, and sat in my car for a long time afterward, thinking about everything that had happened. I had a boyfriend now. The sentence felt foreign and familiar at the same time. My phone buzzed. Kai. Home safe. Miss you already. Me. That's incredibly cheesy. Kai. You love it. Me. Yeah, I do. Because apparently, I was the kind of person who fell for cheesy now, who had a boyfriend, who was dating his former rival. Life was weird, but also kind of amazing. 3 weeks passed in a blur of stolen moments and careful lies. I told my mom I was spending extra time at the gym, told Jake I was tutoring underclassmen in math, told coach I was working on conditioning. Everyone believed me because they wanted to believe me. Because the alternative, that I was spending every free moment with Kai Masterson, was unthinkable. We were getting careless. On Tuesday, we met at a diner 2 towns over, convinced we were far enough from home to be safe. We sat in a booth, sharing fries and talking about the upcoming statewide showcase. I had decided to go. Kai had been so happy when I told him that he'd grab my hand right there in his car, not caring who might see. We could room together, Kai said, stealing one of my fries. The tournament provides housing. If we request it, they usually pair up people from different schools. That's asking for trouble. Or it's asking for 3 days where we don't have to hide. The idea was tempting. 3 days, 72 hours of not having to constantly look over my shoulder, not having to maintain careful distance, not having to pretend Kai was anything other than what he was, my boyfriend. Let me think about it, I said, which was becoming my default response to everything. You're so cautious, Kai teased. One of us has to be. But even as I said it, Kai was holding my hand under the table, his thumb drawing small circles on my palm. We weren't being cautious at all. That's when I saw him. Marcus Chen, the guy from Kai's team who had come out at graduation. He was standing at the diner counter waiting for a takeout order, and he was looking directly at our booth. I yanked my hand away from Kai's. What? Kai started, then followed my gaze. Oh. Marcus walked over. He was taller than I remembered, with kind eyes and an easy smile. Kai, is that you? Marcus, hey. Kai's voice was too bright, too forced. What are you doing here? I go to college about 15 minutes away. This is my regular diner. His eyes shifted to me. And you're Adrian Martinez. I've seen you play. You're really good. Thanks, I managed. There was an awkward pause. Marcus looked between us, clearly understanding what he'd walked in on. Well, I won't interrupt your dinner, but Kai, text me sometime. We should catch up. After he left with his takeout bag, Kai and I sat in silence. He knows, I said finally. He won't tell anyone. You don't know that. Adrian, Marcus came out publicly. He's not going to out us. That's against the code. There's a code? Yes. Kai reached for my hand again, but I pulled away. Adrian, we need to be more careful. This was too close. Or maybe it's a sign that we should stop hiding. I can't believe you're saying that. You know what would happen if people found out. I know what might happen. We don't know for sure. Kai, my scholarship depends on my reputation. Coach Santos is writing recommendation letters for me. If I come out now, everything could fall apart. Or nothing would change at all. You're being naive. And you're being a coward. The word hung between us like a slap. I stood up, grabbing my jacket. I'm leaving. Adrian, wait. No. You don't get to call me a coward because I'm not ready to throw away my entire future for a relationship that's barely a month old. I saw the hurt flash across Kai's face, but I was too angry to care. I threw money on the table and walked out. He didn't follow me. I drove home way too fast, hands gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me together. My phone buzzed repeatedly with texts from Kai, but I didn't look at them. At home, I went straight to my room. My mom called up the stairs, asking if I wanted dinner, but I yelled back that I wasn't hungry. Finally, I looked at my phone. Kai, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called you that. Kai, please talk to me. Kai, I understand you're scared. I'm scared too. Kai, can we please just talk about this? I didn't respond. The next day at school, I avoided everyone. Sat alone at lunch. Didn't go to practice, told coach I was feeling sick. Maya tried to corner me in the hallway, but I pretended I didn't see her. That night, Kai called. I let it go to voicemail. Thursday, Jake finally had enough. Okay, what's going on with you? He demanded, blocking my locker so I couldn't leave. You've been weird for weeks, and now you're full on avoiding everyone. Talk to me. I'm fine. You're not fine. You missed practice yesterday. You're not eating. You look like you haven't slept in days. He crossed his arms. Is this about the suspension still? Because, dude, we all moved past that. It's not about the suspension. Then what? I wanted to tell him. Wanted to unload everything about Kai, about being confused and scared and falling for someone I wasn't supposed to fall for. But the words wouldn't come. I just need some space, I said finally. Space from what? From everything. From basketball, from this school, from people expecting me to be something I'm not. Jake's expression softened. Adrian, whatever's going on, you can tell me. I'm your friend. I know. So tell me. But I couldn't. Instead, I grabbed my bag and walked away, leaving Jake standing there looking hurt and confused. Friday night, I went to the game against Westfield. Sat on the bench, even though coach wanted me to play. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't focus. Couldn't care. We lost by 12 points. In the locker room after, coach pulled me aside. What's going on with you, Adrian? And don't tell me nothing. I've been coaching for 20 years. I know when a player is dealing with something. It's personal. Personal is affecting your game. That makes it my business. I looked at Coach Santos, this man who had believed in me, trained me, fought for me, even after I screwed up at the championship. He deserved honesty. Coach, what would you do if one of your players was gay? He blinked, clearly not expecting that question. What? Hypothetically, if one of your players came to you and said they were gay, how would you react? Coach was quiet for a long moment. I'd tell them it doesn't change anything. They're still part of this team, still my player, still deserving of respect and support. What about the other players? What if they had a problem with it? Then I'd remind them that this is a team and teams support each other. Period. He studied my face carefully. Adrian, is there something you need to tell me? This was it. The moment I could come clean. Could stop hiding. Could trust that maybe, just maybe, things would be okay. Instead, I said, no, coach, just curious. He didn't look like he believed me, but he nodded. My door is always open. Remember that. That night, Kai texted one more time. Kai, I miss you. Please talk to me. I stared at the message for an hour, then finally typed, me. I miss you too. Kai, can we meet tomorrow? Please? Me. Okay. Me. But Kai, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be brave like you. Kai, you don't have to be like me. You just have to be honest with yourself. That's all I'm asking. Saturday afternoon, we met at our park. The same bench, the same view of the lake. But everything felt different now. I'm sorry, Kai said immediately, for calling you a coward. That was unfair. You weren't wrong, though. Adrian, no, let me say this. I took a deep breath. You were right. I am scared. I'm terrified of losing basketball, of disappointing people, of my mom looking at me differently. But I'm also terrified of losing you. And I don't know how to balance those fears. Kai reached for my hand, and this time I let him take it. Here's what I know, he said. I can't promise that coming out will be easy. I can't promise everyone will accept us, but I can promise that I'll be with you through it. Whatever you decide, however long it takes, I'm not going anywhere. What if it takes years? What if I'm not ready until after college? Then we'll figure it out. Long distance, secret visits, whatever we need to do. Because, Adrian, I'm not interested in half of you. I want all of you, the scared parts, the brave parts, the parts that are still figuring things out. I felt tears burning behind my eyes. I don't deserve you. That's the stupidest thing you've ever said. I laughed, and it came out watery. I love you. I think. I don't know if I'm ready to say it out loud, but I think that's what this feeling is. Kai's eyes went wide. You. What? Is that okay? Am I moving too fast? Adrian, I've loved you since the first time I saw you play. So, no, you're not moving too fast. You're moving at exactly the right speed. He kissed me then, right there on the bench in the middle of the day where anyone could see, and I kissed him back. When we finally pulled apart, I said, I'll do the statewide showcase with you. We can room together. 3 days of not hiding. Really? Really? Baby steps, right? Baby steps. We sat there until the sun set, making plans, making promises, making a future that still scared me but also felt like the only possible path forward. The statewide showcase took place at a neutral university campus 2 hours from home. 3 days of the best high school basketball players in the state competing, being scouted by college coaches, and proving themselves on a bigger stage. I had never been more nervous in my life. Kai and I drove separately, but arrived at the same time, meeting in the parking lot with carefully neutral expressions. Other players were streaming in, dragging suitcases and duffel bags. No one paid us any attention. Ready? Kai asked quietly. Not even a little bit. Me neither. Let's do it anyway. Check in was chaos. Hundreds of players, dozens of teams, coaches, and scouts and organizers all trying to manage the crowd. When I gave my name at the registration desk, the woman handed me a room key and a schedule. You're in room 412. You requested a roommate from a different school? Yes. She checked her computer. Looks like you're paired with Kai Masterson from Riverside High. He already checked in. Said to tell you he went up to the room. My heart was pounding as I rode the elevator to the fourth floor. This was real. Kai and I were going to share a room for 3 days. No sneaking around. No hiding. Just us. Room 412 was at the end of the hall. I knocked, even though I had a key. Kai opened the door, and his face lit up when he saw me. Hey. Hey. We stood there for a moment, suddenly awkward. Then Kai stepped back to let me in. The room was small but nice. 2 beds, a bathroom, a window overlooking the campus. Kai had already claimed the bed by the window, his suitcase open on the floor. Is this weird? I asked. Feels weird. It's definitely weird. Good weird, though. I set down my bag and sat on my bed. So, what now? Now we play basketball. Kai sat across from me on his own bed. That's why we're here, remember? The whole being able to share a room thing is just a bonus. He was right. I needed to focus on the tournament, on playing well, on impressing the scouts who would be watching. The opening ceremony was that evening. All the players gathered in the gymnasium, and the organizers explained the rules. We'd been randomly assigned to teams of 8. Team assignments were posted outside. I found my name on Team 7, checked the roster. Nobody I knew. Then I checked Team 3 and found Kai's name. We're not playing together, I said when we met up afterward. I know, I'm kind of relieved, honestly. At least we won't have to guard each other. Until the finals, maybe. Confident, are we? Just stating facts. That first night in the room was strange. We got ready for bed like it was the most normal thing in the world. Kai brushed his teeth while I changed into sleep clothes. I set my alarm while he checked his phone. Then we were both in our separate beds in the dark, with barely 3 feet between us. Adrian? Kai's voice came through the darkness. Yeah? Thank you for being here, for taking this step. Thank you for being patient with me. Always. I fell asleep to the sound of Kai's breathing, steady and calm, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't have nightmares. The tournament started Saturday morning. My team's first game was at 9 a.m. I played out of my mind. 23 points, 7 assists, 3 steals. We won by 18 points, and afterward, several college scouts asked for my contact information. Kai's game was at 11 a.m. I sat in the bleachers wearing a plain hoodie and watched him destroy the competition. He was incredible. Every move was precise, every shot calculated. His team won by 21 points. When he walked off the court, sweaty and grinning, our eyes met across the gym. He gave me a small nod. My heart did that stupid, fluttering thing again. Between games, we explored the campus, got food from the dining hall, studied the bracket to see who we might face in later rounds. Other players occasionally nodded at us in recognition, but mostly everyone was focused on their own games. This is nice, I said, as we sat on a bench outside the gym, eating mediocre burgers. Being able to be together without constantly looking over our shoulders, told you it would be worth it. Sunday, both our teams made it to the semifinals. My game was in the afternoon, Kai's in the evening. Mine was brutal. We went into overtime and barely won by 2 points. I was exhausted. Kai's team also won, which meant the final on Monday would be Team 3 versus Team 7, Kai versus me. That night in our room, we should have been strategizing, analyzing each other's weaknesses, preparing to compete. Instead, we ordered pizza and watched terrible movies on my laptop. Tomorrow is going to be weird, Kai said during a commercial break. Yeah, we're going to be opponents again, after all this time being on the same side. We've always been opponents, Kai. We've just been other things too. He smiled. True. You nervous? Terrified. You? Same, but also excited. This is what we've always wanted, right? To play against each other in a high stakes game. To prove who's really better. I'm better. We'll see about that. We fell asleep close to midnight, both too wired to rest properly. In the morning, the tension was palpable. We got dressed in silence, each focused on the game ahead. At breakfast, we sat with our respective teams, didn't acknowledge each other. Back to being rivals. The gym was packed for the finals. College scouts filled the front rows. Parents and friends crowded the bleachers. This was it. The biggest game either of us had played since the championship where I punched him. The irony wasn't lost on me. We met at center court for the tip-off. Kai looked at me, and for just a second, the rival mask slipped. I saw my boyfriend underneath. Then the referee tossed the ball, and we were off. It was the most intense game I'd ever played. Kai was everywhere. Every time I got the ball, he was there to defend. Every time I tried to pass, he predicted it. It was like he could read my mind. But I could read his too. Knew when he was going to drive left. Knew when he was setting up for a three-pointer. Knew his tells and his strategies. First quarter ended tied. Second quarter, my team pulled ahead by 4. Third quarter, his team came back. By the fourth quarter, we were tied again with 2 minutes left. The gym was roaring. Scouts were furiously taking notes. Everything came down to these final moments. Kai had the ball. I was guarding him. He faked left, but I didn't fall for it. Went right, and I stayed with him. He jumped for a shot, and I jumped to block. Our bodies collided in midair. For a split second, we were suspended there, pressed together, the ball between us. I saw the determination in Kai's eyes, the fire, the absolute refusal to lose. I loved him so much in that moment. The ball went up, bounced off the rim, my teammate grabbed the rebound. 30 seconds left. I ran down the court. Kai was right behind me. The defense collapsed on me. I passed to a teammate. He passed back. I was open. 10 seconds. I jumped, released the ball, watched it arc. Swish. The buzzer sounded. We had won. 87-85. My team mobbed me. Everyone was screaming. I had won the statewide showcase. But through the chaos, I saw Kai standing alone on the court, hands on his knees, breathing hard. He looked up, found me in the crowd, and smiled. Not a sad smile, not a defeated smile. A genuine, proud smile that said, "You earned this." I wanted to go to him, wanted to hug him, comfort him, tell him he played incredibly, but I couldn't. Not here, not in front of everyone. Then Kai walked over. In front of all the scouts and players and coaches, he extended his hand. Great game, Martinez. I shook his hand, and he pulled me into a brief hug. The kind teammates give each other, nothing suspicious. But in that moment, with his arms around me, he whispered in my ear, I'm so proud of you. My eyes burned with tears. After the medal ceremony, after the photos and the interviews and the congratulations, Kai and I finally escaped back to our room. We had to check out in an hour, but right now we just needed to be together. You okay? I asked as Kai sat on his bed, medal around his neck. I'm good. Really good, actually. That was the best game I've ever played, even though we lost. You were incredible. So were you. He looked at me seriously. Adrian, I need to tell you something. What? Watching you win today, seeing how happy you were, knowing I was part of your journey to get there, that mattered more to me than winning the tournament myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think so. I love you, not just as a rival or a boyfriend, but as someone who makes me want to be better, someone who challenges me and supports me and sees me completely. And I need you to know that wherever this goes, whatever happens with basketball or college or us coming out, I'm all in. I crossed the room and sat next to him on his bed. I love you too. I'm still scared and I'm still not ready to tell the world, but I love you. So much it terrifies me. That's okay. For just means it matters. We kissed, gentle and soft, and for a moment, everything else disappeared. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom asking when I'd be home. Reality crashing back in. We should pack, I said reluctantly. Yeah. As we gathered our things, as we prepared to go back to our separate schools and secret meetings and careful distance, I realized something important. 3 days ago, I had been terrified to share a room with Kai. Today, I couldn't imagine not having him in my life. Maybe that was what courage looked like. Not some grand gesture or public declaration, just small steps, honest conversations, choosing love even when it was hard. Hey, Kai. Yeah? Next tournament, we're going to be on the same team. I'm tired of playing against you. He grinned. Does that mean what I think it means? It means I'm looking at colleges with good basketball programs where we could both get scholarships together. Adrian Martinez, are you planning our future? Maybe. Is that okay? That's more than okay. We drove home separately, but this time I didn't feel alone. I had Kai's number saved in my phone, had plans to see him next weekend, had a future that included both basketball and love. When I walked into my house, my mom was waiting in the kitchen. How was the tournament? I won. I'm so proud of you. She hugged me tight. Tell me everything. So I did. Told her about the games, the scouts, the incredible plays, and for the first time, I told her about someone who would become really important to me. Didn't mention gender, didn't mention names, just said there was someone who made me happy. My mom smiled. I'm glad you have people who support you, Mijo. That's what matters most. It wasn't a coming out conversation, not yet, but it was honest. It was real. It was a start. Later that night, Kai called. I told my mom about the game, about how we both played. She wants to know when she can meet you. Soon, I said, and I meant it. Soon. Because I was done hiding, done being scared, done pretending that basketball was the only thing that mattered in my life. Kai Masterson had punched his way into my heart. Metaphorically, thankfully, and I wasn't letting him go. Hey, Kai? Yeah? Thank you. For everything. For being patient. For believing in me. For loving me. Always, Adrian. Always. We talked until past midnight, making plans, making promises, making a future that was ours and ours alone. I had started this journey thinking Kai was my rival, my opposite, someone to beat. I was ending it knowing he was my partner, my equal, someone to love, and somehow that made all the difference.